Hi everyone, it's me Barky, and I said I would do this video a while ago, so it's a bit overdue, but this is my top 10 content mods for Rimworld. And if you don't know what a content mod is, it pretty much is not quality of life, so it doesn't change the menu, it doesn't change like the habits your colonists have. These are things that change the game in a way that you will change your playthrough. Generally, they're big enough that you can actually make a playthrough around these mods. I just want to say straight away that I do have mod series included in this as one mod. And the reason I'm doing that is because some of them rely on the other ones for them to be a full experience, and I only think that's fair to judge them all equally. Because, for example, Jakrell makes amazing mods, but he separates them so that people have the option of playing with certain modules. And in actuality, the actual mod pack is complete if you play with all of them. So I think it's fair to judge them based on like a mod by mod basis, but include them as one big mod series. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I think that's the best idea. Awesome. So let's start with number 10, and this is Glittertech. Now, Glittertech is a massive mod for Rimworld Alpha 17. In fact, it's one of the OG mods in that it's been around for a very long time, and it has a big amount of content. In fact, if you're an avid modder of Rimworld, you will have heard about Glittertech. Glittertech adds in a whole lot of late game variables to the game that allow you to enjoy them more, such as new bionics, new power sources, new enemies, new factions. It's also one of the first mods that makes like tanks in a way, and as you can see, the explosions in the background are coming from tanks shooting at each other from other sides. And how it does this is that it tricks the Rimworld system into making like centipede type animals, you know, from the mechanoids and stuff like that. So it's really cool. It's a very interesting idea. But Glittertech is huge, and I need to put emphasis on that, and that it will change your game in the late game. Early game though, you can have Glittertech and not actually notice what it does because of how minimal it affects the early game. So that's awesome. I would definitely recommend giving this a try. It gets my number 10 spot because I don't use it all the time. I do think it's pretty strong. It's a bit too strong, and there are a bit too many OP elements that kind of ruin the game, such as some of the rifles that the Orion Core get. It's just a bit too strong. But besides that, it's really awesome. Alright, so number 9 we have the Miscellaneous AI mod. These are actually two different mods because for the Miscellaneous AI to work, you need Miscellaneous Core. So just keep that in mind. It's similar to Hug's Lib in a way. But this is an awesome mod that allows you to have artificial colonists that you can create when you've got the appropriate research and all that all done. And at the end of the game, I think you can use AI persona cores to give them like burning passions and stuff. It's crazy. Anyways, so if you play with Combat Extended or any of these mods that make the regular colonists a lot more squishy and a lot more vulnerable, this mod allows you to create your own colonists that can populate your colony. You'll have a wave of new workers and all that just doing work for you, trying to ensure that your colony survives to the next day. This is an awesome mod. It's quickly become one of my favorite mods thanks to how it works. It's just so much fun to use. Having artificial colonists, you don't need to worry too much about them dying, although it does suck because of how expensive they are. But it's not a colonist that you're losing. And for this game, I play with story. The reason that I play Rimworld is the story that it creates while I'm playing. I love to stream it as well, so that I can get the story going, especially when I name colonists after people watching the stream. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, this mod, it goes very far into depth, so just keep that in mind when playing with this, because there are some variants of the Miscellaneous AI that cannot perform combat duties. There are some ones that can't work until you have the right research. But all around, this is an awesome mod. I really recommend trying it out. It won't change your playthrough entirely, but it is a nice addition that will make up a large chunk of your playthrough. Now just keep in mind that it is major late game. I don't think you'll be using it early game at all. So if you're one of the people who just likes to have mods as an option, you could just add this in and just keep it for later because it won't affect your game at all in the beginning. Alright, so next up we have the Dubwise Hygiene and Central Heating mod, which basically just allows you to have a hygiene segment added into your game by adding in the need hygiene and the need bladder, and then they can get rid of that by using this new tab over here called hygiene. There used to be just be the hygiene mod, but now it has central heating as well, which is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's a nice addition. But yeah, mainly what you use this mod for is to just add a new aspect to Rimworld, which is the hygiene tab. So you need to clean your colonists by having like wash buckets and latrines in the beginning, and then as you research more and more, you'll get toilets, bathtubs, showers, stuff like that. Solar water heaters and stuff. As you can see, I've got a hot water tank, which I need so I can shower with hot water and that sort of stuff. And then there is a new sort of conduit type style thing. So as you can see, I've got this all connected to the sewage treatment over here. So it's cool. So they go in pee and then takes it out over here. But obviously you can't connect it to other things. So you have a sewage outlet over here,
which you can plug into a river, which is really funny if you're into that kind of thing. But there are also wash buckets and latrines. So, and then once you have enough fecal sludge, which is what you get out of latrines, you can make the floor out of it, because you have to get rid of it somehow, and this is the only way, which is really funny. But this is really cool. It's another mod that really does add in a new layer to the game. It doesn't change the game entirely, such as some of the other mods that I have over here, but it does make a huge difference for the game. So I've done a video on it. We'll put a link in the description to it. Alright, so for number 7, we have the Call of Cthulhu monsters, which add Lovecraftian monsters and the mythology of them to your game. Now, just keep in mind that this is what I spoke about at the start of your video. There's actually quite a few mods in total, many more than one, that Jakrell has made. Now, the original idea was to have all of them just be played at once, and that is the best way to play it, in my opinion. But you can pick and choose what you don't like. So some of them you really don't enjoy. So, for example, if I'm playing with Combat Extended, I will turn off the Cosmic Horrors mod because it's not balanced for Combat Extended. It hasn't been patched, so it's really broken and it's not fun to play at that point. But for example, you can tailor it to your experience, which is really nice. So I'm going to include this as one mod, and I just want you to revel in its awesomeness, because it is awesome. This is one of the best made mods for Rimworld by far. It has a lot of YML coding, it has a lot of C# coding, and besides that, whatever Jakrell touches, it becomes gold. So I really recommend going to go take a look at this. A few of the things that are really nice about it is the general look of the mod. It is a beautiful mod. Everything is in Rimworld style. You have a whole lot of new faction things being added in. It's all cel shaded and well done. I don't know who the artist is, but this guy is a genius because it looks absolutely amazing. The work on this mod is just top notch, and it is so much fun to play with, especially when you get a cult and you start doing sacrifices and all that to like Cthulhu or Niagarath or whatever their names are. It's like, I don't know all the gods' names, but it is so much fun. But just keep in mind, a lot of the mods that I've been speaking about have not been too early game, except for the Dubwise one, the Hygiene mod, and this one now. So the Call of Cthulhu series will affect your game from the get-go. You will get raided by cosmic horrors such as star vampires, dark ones, deep ones, whatever you can name it, Lovecraftian mythology things. But more importantly than that is that you can get a cult going from the get-go. In fact, it can be one of the first things that you do in-game. And it's quite a hurdle to get this one, because I see a lot of people don't actually play with it, and it's because maybe it makes them feel funny, or it just seems like too much, it's just overwhelming. But I really recommend just trying it out and seeing how you like it, because from the get-go you'll be hurled into the world, and it does not make the game overly difficult. It does add in a new layer to the difficulty, but it does change the game entirely, to the point where you need to now deal with several new factions. You need to deal with this cult forming, stuff like that. You need to hide your cult from the MRF and from the agency, whatever they're called, stuff like that. So for my number 6 spot, I have Rimatomics, and Rimatomics is the spiritual successor to Rimashima, which Dubwise made, and I've actually done a video on it. In fact, it was one of the bigger videos from my channel when I made it last year. Now, this is an absolutely massive mod that introduces the study of atomic theory to Rimworld, and it allows you to create things like ICBMs, it allows you to create railguns, different power sources, nuclear radiation is a big deal, but nuclear reactors to get power out of them, and stuff like that. You get high energy lasers, more different types of railguns, and then finally, as you can see, we are nuking a little village in the background. Now, as I said earlier, this is a sequel to Rimashima, and it was made by the same person, Dubwise. It is incredibly in-depth, to the point where it'll consume your late game because of how much you have to do in the game, and how much there is to do in the game. You can afford to ignore this completely though if you don't want to. It is the kind of mod that doesn't actually require you to use it too actively, and it is a really nice option to have in the background of any Rimworld game. But man, if this isn't the most fun mod that I've played with in recent times, I don't know what is, because this is absolutely amazing. Dubwise has done it again. He makes amazing stuff consistently and constantly, which is really, really awesome. The coolest part about this mod though is definitely the nuclear reactor, maintaining the coolant, maintaining the reactor itself, making sure that your colonists don't suffer from radiation poisoning, and all of that. This is just a lot of fun. I definitely recommend picking it up, having a new playthrough with it. Because of how addictive it can be, I would advise to make sure you know your stuff before messing around with it. But besides that, it is actually a lot more simple than people are making it out to be, because I've messed around with it, and if I can do it, then so can you. Anyways.
So number 6 on my list is Zombieland. Now, Zombieland started out as a test by the Rimworld mod maker Pardaike, or as you guys probably know him as Brains, and he wanted to try and see how many pawns on screen he could get. And it turned into the Zombieland mod where he had thousands and thousands of pawns at the same time, or maybe hundreds, I don't actually know, but you can set the limit to a few thousand, I think. He wanted to see that, and he eventually got it down to the point where he removes all the def files from the pawns and allows them to effectively exist with minimal performance loss, which is fantastic for a lot of people. And eventually it became Zombieland, because now, at this point in the mod, it is constantly being updated, just by the way. At this point in the mod, it is barely even close to being what it used to be. It is a fully fledged Zombieland mod now. If you get bit, you can get infected. If you get infected, you'll become a zombie, obviously, and then people have to fight you. The zombie have their own menus where you can adjust how much damage they do, how much HP they have, how much like damage they will do to certain areas. If you want them to attack your doors, or if you want them to attack your base, or if you want them to not destroy anything. Will they attack all the creatures? Will they attack humans? Stuff like that. Do they spawn from the map edges? Do they spawn from soft ground? And then finally, when do they spawn? So if it's as an event, when it's dark, or you know, like that sort of stuff. It is so customizable, it is so much fun, and this is definitely one of the biggest mods for Rimworld Alpha 17 at least. I definitely say that this completely and utterly changes your game. It makes the game a lot harder, but it is a lot more fun. If I'm being honest, I would actually play with this in almost all of my playthroughs at the moment, at least. I've done a few medieval Zombieland playthroughs with combat extended. That was a lot of fun. So in that essence, it does completely and utterly change the game, and it fits the game to what it wants. So you will not be able to contain the zombies in this mod, unless you make it really, really easy. But you will not be able to control them at all. In fact, it'll screw you over entirely. And just by the way, it has Twinkies, which is really cool. Alright, so for number 4 on the list, we have Vegetable Garden. Now, Vegetable Garden does change the game in quite a few ways, in that it adds in a whole new aspect to the game through cooking and growing. Now in default vanilla, or like in base Rimworld, you get quite a few growing options, but not really too many. So you have rice, corn, and potatoes, and in the end they all sort of do the exact same thing anyways. They give you a nutrition value, and you take enough nutrition, you can make a meal. Generally 10, because all the nutrition is the same, but it takes about 10 of each to make one meal. Now Vegetable Garden adds in a whole other range to those things. So you can get eggplants, you can get apples, you can get bananas, you can make ice cream, coffee, you can grow tea, so you can make tea bags and stuff like that if you're British. I know you guys love that stuff. You can even get to the point where you can make smoothies with different fruit flavored smoothies, and that'll give you a slight buff to like movement speed or metabolism and all that, which allows your colonists to sleep for longer. Now, it does take a lot of preparation to get this up. You need a big growing zone, you need different zones for the growing zones, and if you play on harder difficulties, it may be impossible to enjoy the aspects of Vegetable Garden. But don't let that detract from the mod though, because this is an absolutely amazing mod that completely changes this part of the game. And I definitely think it should be in vanilla, because this makes this part of the game incredibly fun. It is a lot of fun to make a big kitchen and actually grow the food that you want to grow, so that you can make the meals that you want to make. Eventually you'll have a colony that just survive off of pizza. And pizza, for example, takes 2 tomatoes, some meat, cheese, and I think that's it actually. And then dough, which you need to make, and that's like 7 or 8 different steps to make a meal. Well, in vanilla Rimworld, it's only one. You take nutrition and you take it and you make it into a meal. And that's pretty much it. So I definitely recommend trying out Vegetable Garden. It is amazing. It is so much fun. And in the new update, I believe they're adding in a Barky's brown ale or something. So take a look for that. If you see it, that would be really cool. So for number 3, we have Medieval Times. Now, Medieval Times bridges the gap between tribal and then the default Rimworld starting scenario. It effectively allows you to have a whole new section of the game be dedicated to just having Medieval Times era things, such as having new types of bows, different types of armor, having knight's armor versus brigandine armor, tabards, different stuff like that. You get different color capes, no capes by the way, no capes.
And you get all those sorts of things. It's really nice. You also get different kinds of braziers and stuff. The biggest part about this mod for me though is the storytelling element of it. So you get different types of street lamps that you can fill up with coal that allow you to light up your base with these cool looking medieval times street lamps, as well as different braziers. You can put different kinds of ovens in people's rooms and stuff like that, or like furnace type things, which just add to the vibe that you have in medieval times. For a lot of people though, this game is made with medieval times purely because of the fact that you can play without electricity entirely. You can get a subsequent mod called Medieval World, which removes all spacer level technology, so you only have medieval times and below, such as tribal era technology, which is it's just amazing. It's so much fun to mess around with. I really recommend this mod to anyone who wants to enjoy it. You can play the game entirely without electricity thanks to this mod. And that's awesome, because of course it's good to experiment with Rimworld. Although electricity is amazing, it can be fun to try and play without it. And I've actually done several streams where I finished the game without electricity. And yes, it is difficult, but it's not impossible. And Medieval Times does add a lot to it. So what you're watching in the background is a little machinima that I put together of the Helm's Deep battle in the second Lord of the Rings film. As you can see, we've got the elves over here. Now, all of the apparel that they're wearing in this video is actually coming from medieval times. So all the apparel that the elves are wearing and stuff like that, as well as the different corpse bonfires and things that you see around, just littered around. It's really nice. So that all comes from medieval times. It was so much fun to make this little machinima with medieval times, just because of how much the different little apparel things change the environment that you feel like you're in. So all the bows and all that, they just suit the world now. Instead of just being this normal default brown bow, they have little intricate designs on it. So please keep that in mind when playing medieval times. It's these things that are missed on a lot of Rimworld mods that people don't appreciate. But man, they are so damn cool. Alright, so next up we have EPOE, or Expanded Prosthetics and Organ Engineering. I have used this mod in almost every single Rimworld video I have ever done. It was one of the first mods that I ever downloaded. It was a big reason that I got back into playing Rimworld around Alpha 12, I think. It was purely because of this mod, which allows you to make your very own bionic soldiers. So if you don't know what Expanded Prosthetics and Organ Engineering does, it adds in a new facet of the world, which is the organ engineering aspect of it. So you can recreate your colonists with bionic limbs and all that through means in-game. So with a lot of research, you can learn how to make bionic limbs, which you can then use Rimworld's amazing, definitely not broken surgery system to install the limbs on your colonist. And effectively at the end of it, you can get like artificial lungs, like synthetic lungs, synthetic heart, synthetic kidney. Now if you combine this mod with other mods such as Combat Extended, Medieval Times, and a few other ones where colonists are very squishy. They don't mean much. It is pure awesomeness. You're probably wondering why I said Medieval Times since you can't use electricity. Well, the best part about EPOE is that there is a non-electricity version of it. At least the first initial the initial research level of it allows you to make wooden peg legs and steel arms and stuff like that. It's so much fun. You also get into the realms of prison management when you take a prisoner and you want to use their organs for yourself, so you replace them with ones you've built that are slightly worse. I've never done that. That's an evil thing to do. I'm just saying. But man, this mod is awesome. I recommend you play with this in every single playthrough that you do from now on. This can go in any game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change much if you don't want it to. But later on, when raids get a bit more expensive, raiders will start coming at you with these bionic limbs, and it is so goddamn awesome. Seriously, get this mod. It is amazing. It's my number 2 spot because it is probably my favorite mod of all time, but the number 1 spot is something that's truly special. So probably no one was surprised, but to the number 1 spot goes the Star Wars mod series made by Jakrell and Zen. Now, yeah, as I said, it probably doesn't surprise many, but I just love these mods so much. It definitely takes the number 1 spot, the 3 of them. As I said, Jakrell makes mods that are very modular by definition. So you can play with whatever ones you want in particular. So for example, if you don't want lightsabers or the Force or factions, you can turn off the mod. But these 3 mods are just some of the best things in a game I have ever seen. So if you don't know what the Star Wars mods do, they add in the universe of Star Wars, which includes factions, it includes force powers, and it includes lightsabers. So for example, what you're seeing right here is a Jedi, or a Sith user, Darth Barky, super evil guy, busy destroying a squad of stormtroopers, just for fun. Just for fun. It is so good to use this mod. I could play this mod all day and night. It has redefined the way I play Rimworld in a lot of ways. It really got me interested in Rimworld again. My channel was sort of at a lull at some point, and this is the mod that brought me back in a huge way, just because of how much it changes the game. So yes, this game is early game and late game. It'll affect everything you do. In fact, from the get-go, the Empire will come to you and demand taxes, and you can make your biggest enemy within the first week of starting your colony. But besides that, you may have someone with the force sensitive trait. If you've re-rolled enough, you'll get them eventually. There's a 0.002 chance of getting the force sensitive trait, and once you do, you can craft your own badass, and it is so much fun. If you combine the Star Wars mods with EPOE and a few others, you can make the most badass colonist ever, just by giving him a shitload of drugs and giving him bionic limbs and organs, and then giving him force powers and a lightsaber. And if you get the werewolves mod, you can get the werewolf Jedi lightsaber wielding motherfucking killer, dude. It is so awesome. I really recommend these mods to everyone. So if you play Rimworld, I recommend you just try these out, because you will love them. You will base your playthrough around them, and you will not regret it, just because of how much fun they are. This definitely takes my #1 spot. I can't imagine what other one I would put here, just because of how big and awesome this mod is. And to top it off, you get Barky's clan armor, which is a Mandalorian clan. So please go take a look, because it is amazing. That is amazing. I would love to see someone actually send me a screenshot of someone wearing the Barky's clan armor. But anyways, I think that's awesome. But that is the top 10 content mods. I've been wanting to make this video for about 6 months now, and I'm very happy that I waited so long to make it, because it was totally and 100% worth it. A few of the mods that I've put in here have only really gotten to the point when I've loved them recently. So all the mods that I've listed here are being actively developed, which is fantastic, because it means that these are the kinds of mods that will stick around Rimworld and leave it being amazingly good. In fact, I cannot imagine someone messing this up by accident. But these are the top 10 mods. I don't know what you guys think. Tell me what you think. If I missed one of your favorite mods, tell me. This is a personal opinion, so if you dislike it, then, well, that's fine. But I hope you don't dislike it because of the selection and more about the presentation. Otherwise, you know where the like button is. Hit the like button, hit the sub button if you want to see more. I will see you all tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Hey you! Thanks so much for making it to the end of my video. I really appreciate it. Editing videos is both my hobby and my passion, and with that in mind, I've decided to open up a Patreon if you'd like to support me besides in the amazing ways that my subscribers already usually do. I've got loads of perks and benefits, including having your own personally custom made colonist, being one of my default colonists in the mod showcases, special roles on Discord, joining me while I stream, monthly Q&As and podcasts. I've got it all. Come take a look. All support is always appreciated, monetarily or not. If you're a subscriber, then be sure to hit the little bell over here to always be up to date with videos I push out, and head over to the Discord if you ever want to have a deep and meaningful chat with me. And last but not least, I hope you're having an amazing day.